Dee.
We're two divorced.
Well, I'm still separated.
Okay. Working parents.
We talk about all the things you get to deal with when your marriage ends. Like
Co-parenting.
dating.
Running a household all by yourself.
How early is too early for a good hard drink?
Or a glass of wine. And how do you keep it all together after everything fell apart?
This is
The Married Life. We are live. Not live, but you know what I mean? We're recording.
All right. Welcome back. It's Erin and Dee reporting live from Parksville, British Columbia.
We have now been called the platonic Brady Bunch, and I kind of think it's awesome. So we're going to stick with that. And yes, we are on a family vacation together.
Family being both of us as single co-parents with our 5 children.
Combined children, only 2 are mine. She has 3.
How many bedrooms do we have, Erin?
Of course, when you have 7 people in one house, you have 2 bedrooms. Does a living room count as a bedroom? Two bedrooms plus living room.
It does tonight.
So you have 2 children upstairs and 1 adult. We have a baby and Dee in 1 bedroom, and then Dee's other 2 daughters in the living room. And sometimes there's musical beds that happens, but it's working. It's working. No one's fallen out yet. No one's hit the floor.
You might wonder how we could record a podcast in such conditions.
We have a van. It's a mobile recording studio. It's that, or we're on a picnic table in front of our place at a mostly family resort, waiting for someone to come by and see what we're doing. So we're sitting outside because all our children are sleeping inside.
We've got a box of wine on the table, 7-layer dip.
7-layer dip, because why not? You might hear some noise in the background of different people enjoying their stay at the beach, and we could edit that out. But you know what? We want you to experience all of the excitement that is a Brady Bunch vacation.
Which brings us to today's topic, travel. Specifically, travel as a single parent / single co-parent with kids.
We have a bike gang rolling in. And by that, I mean bicycle gang. They don't look they don't know what they're doing. They're going to fall off those bikes.
There might be a wagon too, training wheels, faux show.
Okay, hold on. We'll just let them go by. None of them are wearing helmets. This is not safe. It's way too much family fun being had here.
Have they been hitting the boxed wine like we have, though? They might be all right.
So just to be clear, when we say boxed wine, it's decent. We call it pink chicken wine. It's become a staple, I would say, for vacations, gatherings.
Every night.
Every night you're trying to get through it all.
Yeah.
It's actually called Le Via Farm, but it's got a chicken on it. So if you go ask for the pink chicken wine, they'll hook you up. It's a rosé from France, y'all, but it just happens to be in a box.
We're fancy.
We're super fancy. I don't know about you. I have a deep-seated fear of traveling alone with my 2 kids. And so I think it's easier to have another adult on hand to help share the burden, even though you're multiplying the number of kids significantly.
We discovered that it depends on the adult, because in certain cases, it can actually be more complicated when you're traveling with perhaps your spouse.
Let's just be clear here. We feel this is actually easier than traveling with a spouse used to be. And we have multiple theories about why that's the case. Go ahead.
So let us be perfectly clear, in case we weren't clear before. We believe it's easier to travel when you are not married and to travel simply with other friends who are also with their kids and doing their own thing. And we think there's a few reasons why that is the case. I don't know, Erin, if you want to chime in, but off the top of my head, something I've noticed is when you're traveling with another single mom, it's like somehow the dishes get done. Somehow the meals get made.
Without asking, generally, or it's more collaborative. It's like, hey, should we do this now? And things just happen. There's no like, could you just do that?
And then, fine. Well, if I'll do that. But then, like, what do I get in return?
Yes, scorekeeping does not seem to happen because stuff is just getting done, and neither party feels the need to list or announce what they've just done. There are no pronouncements. It's not like everybody stop what you're doing. Just wanted you all to notice I washed these dishes. I did not put them away, but I did wash them.
It's your turn. It's your turn to put them away. And now I'm going to take a nap because I didn't get to sleep in this morning.
All of the things.
No one's sleeping in.
Yeah, no,
okay?
No, there's no sleeping in.
We've got 5 kids here.
It's not realistic. Sleeping. Not realistic. But yes, the lack of scorekeeping, and the thing about scorekeeping and the sort of chores or duties is it can be so stressful figuring out who's doing what. You just kind of take on the bulk of it because it's not worth the negotiation or the arguments about it. You just kind of get it done because you just want it to be done.
And if you don't want it to be done, you have to be the one that is what do you call it? What's the word? Administering the tasks.
Mm-hmm. You're the manager. You're the delegator. You're the operations head of the household, and that's no fun for anybody. Nobody wants to do that.
CEO, COO, CTO, CFO, and CMO.
All the C's.
Bitch. Okay, so traveling with kids. So we've covered off why it works from a chores and responsibilities perspective.
Yes.
So there's less friction just right off the top because things are just getting done.
Way less tension. And everyone's just happy to be out of their own homes and in a different place and doing different things.
Right. So on that note, the kids get to travel with friends, which is sort of a novel experience.
They love it. It's easier. It's easier when they have friends than when they don't.
Yep. And especially if you come from families like I do, and I know you do too, Erin, where there aren't really cousins.
No cousins.
And there's all these, I have other friends where they come from these big families and the kids have cousins and they're all the same age and they get together and the cousins play. And I'm like, ooh.
You got to build that shit if you don't got it. So we built it. Yeah, because otherwise, if you just have like a brother and a sister or 3 sisters, as you have, Dee, they tend to fight more, I think, when they're just within their family unit. And it's just the same old boring thing. Whereas if you get to travel with sort of pretend family or pseudo family, you're getting that family experience without having to have the built-in cousins and such that I think a lot of us don't have anymore, because with families being, living further away from each other and whatnot, I think that thing of everyone living in the same area or close enough to travel together, that's becoming rarer and rarer. So this is one good way of getting around that. But I think another important part is financials, because not only is it daunting, the idea of packing up and taking your kids somewhere, but the idea of paying for everything yourself is really daunting. So it's nice to be able to have the benefits of travel without hemorrhaging money yourself all the time. I don't think I traveled like the first 2 years with my kids because I was just after separation, because I was so scared of the stress of taking care of them, but then also just like, can I afford to take them on a trip? And so now it's just nice to know that I can do this. It's doable.
Someone else can help shoulder the expense.
Yeah. And then the duties, like the workload, everything is lighter, but without some of the added stressors. Like I wonder how many, and let's be honest, I wonder how many men go into, she's trying to take a selfie. I think someone's trying to take a picture of us. Maybe.
We are famous.
We are famous.
The guy in the cottage across from us is trying to figure out what our deal is.
Oh, yes. The guy in the cottage. Let's talk about that for a minute. We can come back to our core points about traveling with friends. The guy in the cottage across from us, we're gonna whisper just a little bit because we're not sure if he's listening or not.
Oh, he's listening.
You think how would you describe the look he gave us today? So we were all outside, 5 children, ranging from Dee's oldest at 9 and Dee's youngest at 8 months, and then the whole range in the middle. And what would you describe that look as that he gave us?
It was perplexed and intrigued.
Yes.
And
there was no eye contact. It was an observational glance, look.
It was a lingering stare.
Observational stare.
Yeah. He was really trying to figure out what our whole deal is, mainly probably because there are 2 women almost always with a drink in their hands and no man in sight.
We have yet to see them with a drink in their hands. We start here at noon. We're on the stoop.
And wouldn't you?
We're on the stoop out front having a Corona, and they do not seem to indulge, at least not during the day. So the look that he gave us was obviously like, okay, it's been a couple days now. The men are obviously not showing up. Either there's been a terrible accident on the highway or something's up here. So initially it was just sort of like, not a hey, he didn't say anything, but just like a look. And now it's like, something's going on here. So I'm annoyed at myself because there was a pride flag at the thrift store today. And I'm really upset that I didn't just buy it and hang it outside just to sort of test, because I kind of get the vibe that they might not be cool with that.
And I mean, women hanging out together, obviously we have to be gay.
Yes.
I mean, what else
and that's
would we
the thing.
be?
That's the thing. Do women who are married, did you ever go on a trip with a friend and take all your kids without the husbands when you were married? Yeah. I don't think I did.
Are we just the weirdos of this resort right now?
We could be. We could go knock door to door. Excuse me. Is this strange? But yeah, I think the assumption is that probably the assumption is like, okay, the men are going to show up. And then after that, it's like, oh, they must be lesbians. How do I feel about that? How do I, being the guy who's kind of hot, but then kind of weird at the same time?
A little short. A little on the short side.
Yeah. But it's... And
the cookbook.
The fedora. He was reading a cookbook on the beach. Who reads a cookbook on the beach? And he was wearing this fedora, but it was arched really low, like he thought he was like Dick Tracy or something.
And the brim was more like a Kentucky Derby women's son.
Yeah, like he's at the big race. It's Pretty Woman, and they're at the Derby, and they're pushing down the divots with their high heels.
To be clear, he's Julia Roberts.
He's Julia Roberts in this. He's not Richard Gere. No. He's definitely Julia Roberts.
Okay, so circling back to the Erin sort of 3 main points that we've covered off, key benefits, I guess you would say, to doing the buddy up with another co-parent for travel. Tasks and responsibilities are shared and with no sort of scorekeeping or tit for tat kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Kids get the novelty of playing with other kids.
Yep. Socialization.
Because I don't know about you, Erin, but when I think about like traveling with my kids, I think, well, why would I take my kids, spend a bunch of money, go to all the effort of taking them away from the house with less toys and activities than they have at home for them to fight in a small space
that you pay a lot of money for.
A lot of money for.
Yeah. And that this is one thing that we're very fortunate. We're in a place, beautiful, beautiful place in the world. It's only an hour and a half from where we live, and it's wonderful. And every year I think the kids are going to want to go further or somewhere different. They love coming here. So it doesn't have to be about taking them far, far away. It just has to be taking the right people to the right place and having a good time. So that doesn't mean that you have to be packing up and going off to Europe or something like that. I don't think I'm ready for that.
I don't think we can afford 7 round trip flights to Europe.
I don't think we can afford to go down the airplane with 7 children. They might just throw rocks at us or like peanuts and
turn us away at the gate.
Yeah, they'll be like, no, I'm sorry. This is just too many children. Yeah. The adult to child ratio is not good.
Right. So we've got, and the cost. We've got the sharing of the cost. Mm-hmm. What else? How else can we promote this? Because I feel like we've just sort of discovered something great.
I think so. And I think that more people need to get on this plan, because I do think that as I remember my first or second summer after we separated, I felt really isolated because everyone was in couples and they were all going on vacations, like everybody during the summertime. And I'm like at home with a sprinkler in my yard and my kids going like, oh my God, is this my life? I'm never going to get to go anywhere. We're going to be isolated, because to be honest, some couples do treat you like a pariah. Like it's going to catch and I'm going to get this and it's not good. It's like some couples are not, fortunately the majority are fine.
Meanwhile,
but some are
those
not
of us in happy marriages or not happy marriages.
Yeah.
And so-called happy marriages are sitting at home wishing that we were doing our own thing.
Right. Yeah. That's the other thing is like some married people are like, oh, that sounds really good just to get to go with a friend, like instead of your partner, maybe that might be something better. But I do remember feeling like summer vacations were something, or any vacations, Christmas, spring break, whatever it might be, were for couples and families rather than, one parent and a family. But we did talk about something else today. We were talking about the idea of being open to shared vacations with your ex-partner for the big stuff. The big stuff, like the first, like Disneyland and, I don't know, like I say, Europe or something like that. Like things where...
That'd be a long flight, though.
Yes. No, you wouldn't obviously not sit together on the plane. That's just a bad idea. but different separate hotel rooms if you can swing it, and some stuff where your children are going to have a really amazing experience. And if you can be together and share that with your ex-partner, that would be cool. A lot of people can't do that, but if you can, that's pretty awesome. I do know some people that have done that type of thing. That's really cool. But for these little trips that are just kind of a getaway, I don't think that's necessary.
Mm-mm. Although what is nice is if the parent is within driving distance, the other parent, and you can use them as leverage when your children are misbehaving, which is what I did. You threaten to call the other parent and have them drive up and to take that child back to Victoria. And,
instead of like, we're turning this car around and going back. It's like, no, I have an outside car that will come and just take you and you alone and remove you from this experience.
Do I need to
with
call
your
Dad?
friends?
Does Dad need to come and take you away from the holiday?
Right.
Oh, you're going to be good now?
Yeah. Cause even on holiday, they can still be a real challenge, but it is better to have some relief and some, I remember a couple times things like being somewhere by yourself. And if one of them got sick or something and you needed like fever medicine, you can't pop out with the child with the fever and go get it. Like things like that, like just having a backup, it's like being like a police officer and having backup on site. You can.
And we forgot the best part of all is just getting out to hang out with your friends.
Well, that's the other part too, right? Yeah. Or during the day on the porch, whatever works.
Yeah.
But that's the other piece too, is it's not just about the kids. I mean, it is great. You want to spend time with your kids and enjoy all of that, but doing it with a friend rather than just being on your own and isolated and post bedtime, it being quiet. Instead, you can be out doing a podcast on your front table.
Swatting away mosquitoes.
Yeah, a few mosquitoes. Not too bad though.
Contact with the looky-loos who are wondering what we're doing.
We got one person took our photo, but that's about it. I'm a little disappointed. We're kind of hidden behind some bushes. So
there was a pelican. It flew by.
Yeah, we saw a pelican. We're very spoiled. This is a beautiful, beautiful place to be.
But yeah, I was away traveling with one of my kids a couple weeks ago. And I was basically what was the baby. So I was pretty much confined to the hotel room.
The baby, that's a very significant child to be traveling with alone.
Yes, but 6:30 p.m. onward, I was on lockdown in my hotel room. I couldn't even call anybody on the phone to talk. Texting. Wake the baby up. So there I was just texting. Luckily, I had a room with a nice view. But yeah.
But that hurts because you're like, you were in Chicago.
Yeah.
We're from the West Coast of Canada. You're in Chicago. There's all this amazing stuff going on just outside your hotel.
I could hear the sirens. I could hear the screams.
And that's the thing. You're on lockdown. You're stuck.
Yeah.
So that,
it's pressed against the window. Take me with you.
Party's up here.
Oprah,
come on up. You just have to tiptoe and be really quiet.
Michelle Obama.
Right? Yeah. All the cool ladies hang out in Chicago, but some of them are locked in their hotel room. And I remember the other part of that, like you were at a conference. I remember being at a conference, or were you at meetings?
Conference.
Yeah. I remember being at a conference when I was away from my kids, but I was breastfeeding still my daughter. And just going upstairs and like having a pump in the hotel room and then run back downstairs to schmooze and try to score deals. I'm just like, this is like, hi, nice to meet you. Please give me all this money to do something. By the way, I was just upstairs milking myself 2 minutes ago. Right.
And
just awkward.
Can we just spin off in the milk direction for a second here? We can edit this out later if we want to, but did you ever find when you were pumping, especially when you were away from your baby, that it was really hard to get a letdown and then you couldn't?
And then it was unstoppable.
And then it was unstoppable at a different time. So you can't get anything. So you're like, well, this isn't going to happen. So you pack the whole thing up, go back out.
30 minutes later, your body's like, oh, that's what you wanted. Sure, I can do this. It's like, not right now. Not right now. God. But yeah, I do. Here's one piece I think we do have to acknowledge is that we are able to travel not far. Again, we're an hour and a half from where we live. And I know that there are many women and men raising kids as a single parent or a co-parent who may not have the financial means to do anything because they're just trying to get food on the table and shelter over their heads. But ideally, even if it's just like a camping trip
Or, you know, you can
in
do
a
a
yard.
staycation. It's like, have your friends over. They can
Staycation.
have,
Camp in the living room.
Exactly. For a few nights.
Whatever it might
do
be.
fun stuff during the day. Go to the lake, go to the beach if you have a beach near your house.
Yeah. Public parks.
Yeah.
All that
exactly.
stuff. Have a barbecue at one of the fire pits or something like that. Oh, there's somebody coming.
Make popcorn in the
I'm
microwave.
hearing them.
Are we getting busted here?
Are we? No. They wouldn't dare. This isn't against the law. Ooh. That was a sneeze.
Oh, there it goes again.
Oh my God. See, you don't get this. If you're in a recording studio, you don't get this. This is the full experience.
Yeah. This is immersive stuff.
Yeah.
What were we just talking about?
I want to talk about something. So I find it interesting that we have been able to figure this out. Like we go on these trips, we do these little things together with our kids together. I wish that men felt more comfortable doing that together. I don't think that my kid's dad would ever feel comfortable just reaching out to another man friend and saying, hey, do you want to take the kids and go somewhere? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does that all the time and I just don't know about it. But I do hope that everyone feels that this is something that they can do, but also men.
But how would they eat?
How they eat? They'd go kill things in the woods,
what about
obviously.
The dishes? What would happen when the dishes were all dirty?
They'd buy paper plates. Come on. There's dollar stores. They're around. No, it's true. But you know what? And maybe we all perform differently when you're with a friend versus when you're with a partner. Maybe we all show up differently. Maybe there's an extra layer of I don't want to be the douchebag friend who's doesn't do my part versus in a relationship. Maybe it's well, I've been doing a lot of this lately, so I'm just quietly going to sit back and let you take the load without having a conversation about it. Maybe all of us, I hate taking responsibility and accountability, but maybe to some degree, it's the dynamics of being in a long-term relationship don't help.
And to be fair, we can only speak from failed relationships.
Not failed. Learning experiences. Okay. There are no failed relationships.
Fine. Ones that did not make it. I'm sure there are, maybe the people across from us that were
maybe relationships.
Maybe they have a great marriage. They help each other and the dishes get done and the meals get made.
I think we should go in there and see if they have dishes in the sink.
Should we do a live intervention? Should we do hey...
Just knock on the door.
Yeah.
Excuse me, we're here to check on your dish situation. My money is on... based on the dynamics I've witnessed, the dishes are done because she did them and she's sitting there rubbing his feet.
Oh, for sure. While he reads his cookbook.
He's reading his cookbook about recipes. He's probably putting stickers in there for recipes he wants her to make.
He's got the sticky notes, the really skinny ones, and he's flagging the ones that he wants.
And it's color coded by the day of the week.
Yeah.
It's blue, Monday, steak. We made a lot of assumptions about this person based on just witnessing them. But I feel because we're not actually saying it to him in any way, shape, or form, we don't know his name or anything. We're not doing him any harm.
We won't tell you what cabin number they're staying.
Yeah,
just in case you know him.
But just to be honest, it's been very entertaining. And we've also noticed there's lights on at the cabin next to us, but we don't think anyone's staying in it. So
we know this because we tried to open the door.
Total honesty. We did check the doors. Well, I suggested it and Dee acted on it. She went and checked if either of the other ones were open that we could sneak in and record out of there.
Just break into a cabin and record our parenting podcast.
No, we were only going to break in if the door was unlocked. We were not actually going to smash windows, but if the door was unlocked, we were going to go in and illegally put our backsides in a place that wasn't ours. But they rent them all the time. It's not a big deal. We're very tidy. We would have made sure there was no trace.
We're explaining a crime we didn't even commit here.
This is the low-level criminal minds that you're dealing with here. We're already apologizing about the wine stains. It's just rosé. It'll come right out. Don't worry. We've got a thing for that.
Don't spill the rosé. This is the only box we have.
I know it's quality, high quality boxed wine. You don't spill that stuff.
It's from France.
Another thing that's been really cool about this trip, is this the second year we've done this or third?
The third. You did. Third? You came up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So we had done it initially while some of us who shall not be named were still married. And the unmarried party came along and spread her negative energy vibes until she got what she wanted. Anyway, third year coming up to this same part of the world with the kids. And I was worried that they were going to get bored, that they'd be like, oh, Mom, we always go there. That's lame. But it's a tradition now. Every year they say, when can we go to the beach house? When are we going? And my daughter packed her suitcase like a month in advance. She was so excited. And it's just really cool that now this is a thing that they know is coming. They look forward to it.
Yep. And, I grew up coming to this very same spot with my family. And we sort of had our own tradition, and this place was always special to me in that way. And I love the idea that we can come here with our kids and make a memory for them. It's different than, the experience that I had coming here with my parents. But it's going to be special. It's going to be something they anticipate every summer, just like I did, which is fun.
But I think like if it was just me and them every year, I don't think it would be the same thing for them. I think it's the fact that it's like an event because there's other kids there and it's different, and you get to have like a sleepover that lasts like 5 days. It's a big deal. Whereas if it was just me and them, that's the three of us, it would get pretty tired pretty fast, I would think.
Yeah. And then that's when you start to add up the bill in your head and you wonder, why did I do this?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And it's also the decision making. I mean, having to decide, okay, what are we going to eat? Where are we going to go? What are we going to do? Like it all falls on your shoulders. It's so much nicer to share it.
Yep. And, kids, especially when you've got 5 kids and the age spread, as Erin said, is like 8 months to almost 10 years. Kids don't always want to do the same stuff. Inevitably, there's going to be at least one kid that doesn't want to do the thing.
Yes. The splitting off.
Yeah. And so when you've got
fragmenting the group.
Exactly. You got another person there you can do the divide and conquer, just like you can when you have a spouse.
I find it's easier though, like as a spouse, it's like we're on holiday too, and we should be spending time together.
Right.
The divide and conquer seems less appealing. There's more of like an emphasis to be together as one family unit all the time. Mm-hmm. Whereas maybe some families don't feel that way, but I feel like we did because your holiday time is precious and you only get so much of it. But the ability to split off into factions and not just be stuck in one place because one child needs to nap or whatever and the other one doesn't. If you're not napping, let's go do something. If you are, stay home. Mm-hmm. And we'll have an adult with you to manage that situation. So all in all, I feel like this is a solid solution for any single parent / co-parent who wants to get away but doesn't want to spend a shit ton of money all by themselves, and also doesn't want the full responsibility of entertaining, feeding, all the other things you have to do with the kids while you're there.
Well, yeah, it's daunting, but this is fun. Like we're telling you, we're sitting right here. We're having a blast.
It's so good that we're sitting here at a picnic table telling you about it.
Oh, and it's an hour later than we said it was.
Oh, this is DSAC. Okay, we're legit. We were watching right before bed, Mary Poppins Returns, and they talk about the ability to move time and change time, and nothing's impossible. And Dee just gets a light bulb over her head.
And I thought, what if it was bedtime now? And so I walked over to the microwave and I moved the clock an hour ahead. I went to the stove right after that and I moved the clock an hour ahead. And as soon as Mary Poppins was over, oh my gosh, it's 9.
It was bedtime. And my son was so excited. He's like, Mommy, it's 5 minutes past my bedtime. Yeah. I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, you're lucky.
Well, they're clock checkers, the kids, like they want to know why, what time is it? Is this later than normal?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, we wouldn't have flown putting them down at 8.
But they needed it. That was the thing. It wasn't just because we wanted them to go to bed early. It's been a busy day.
Well, it was because of that, but also
that too. Yeah, let's be honest.
Which was proven by the fact that they're dead to the world right now.
They crashed hard, but it was such a great trick. And did you put them back yet?
I've got to put them back.
Yeah, we got to flip that back before they wake up. And they're like, it's 8 a.m. No, it's 7. Go back to bed. We changed the clocks. Because we might have to whip that one out again tomorrow. So it's good that
I think we will have to for sure.
Hopefully those clocks are easy to change. But there's another hack for you. Just change the clock. They don't know. They don't have a watch.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
You wish it was bedtime?
Yeah.
Make it
bedtime. It shall be bedtime. Okay, so closing thoughts. Be brave, be bold, get out and travel. Think about who you could stand to travel with. Don't go far. And just make the most of it and find people that you want to be around, but also your kids want to be around. Any other thoughts?
I'm trying to think of something clever to say, but I think you pretty much summed it up.
I'm hearing these mics are interesting. I can hear like a child screaming in the distance. It makes me feel so much better about my own kids.
And someone's walking very gingerly. It sounds like a man in, I'm going to say Tevas.
Oh, it's Tevas. Are you kidding here?
Very light on his feet.
We're talking about, yeah, lots of dads here. Lots of dads. But yeah, get out there, enjoy travel. Just only take on what, feels good for you, and go somewhere where you can buy anything that you've forgotten. Toothbrushes.
Oh, that's a great tip.
Yeah. Don't go somewhere like in the middle of nowhere where if you forget something, it's going to be the end of the world.
Yeah, don't do wilderness shit.
Yeah. It's cool. That's great. Good for you. If you can live with nothing, go ahead. But if your kids need a certain thing or a certain whatever, and you go somewhere and you've forgotten it, this is so much easier. It's like, we've got the beach. It's amazing, but there's also a town, and we can get what we need. And we're not going to worry about missing anything. And groceries. The ability to get somewhere and buy what you need as opposed to having to haul all that shit.
Oh, God.
That is such a load off my mind.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I know other people that come up here and they go and pack the cooler first and drive an hour and a half to a town that has the exact same grocery stores.
Literal grocery store.
5 minutes up the road.
Same.
You could get here, you could
get your little points card out and use it here if you had one and you knew where it was. Well, I have one, but I don't know where it is. But you can use it here. So yeah, totally. Baby steps, like take small steps, but definitely get out and do that, because that's not something you want to be missing out on.
You got this.
All right. I think it's time to, I haven't been able to eat the 7-layer dip and chips, so I think I'm going to do that now.
It's calling your name.
It is.
All right. Until next time.
I'll let you know if the creepy dude comes out. So far, it's very quiet. Okay.
It's past their bedtime.
It must be past their bedtime.
Thank you so much for making the time to listen. We know you have way too much going on.
If you can spare a little more time, though, please follow us on Instagram and Facebook at demarriedlife, or visit us at demarriedlife.com for all of our episodes, articles, and lots of other great ideas for living a post-married life that isn't a total shit show.
See you there.